Hello, I'm Laura and I'm going to give you a quick introduction to this instrument here. I play the fiddle in the band as well as this, but after a lot of gigs, in fact most gigs, I always get people coming up and asking what this instrument is, asking, you know, what's that guitar with the hubcap on the front, or you know, do you always play it up the wrong way? So I thought I'd answer some of those questions and also show you how to play it, and also how to get yourself started even if you don't own one of these as such, but you can do it with just an ordinary guitar and a few little accessories. So I call it a Dobro, which is a brand name owned by Gibson, and it actually applies to any wood-bodied guitar with a metal resonator cone like this in it. So they can be round-necked or like this one, which is square-necked. So I don't know if you can see, but it's got a square neck. So and the strings of this are raised about that far off the fretboard, so you couldn't actually fret it like an ordinary guitar. It's made specifically for playing lap style, but you can get round-neck ones for playing like an ordinary guitar as well. So as I say, that's a brand name owned by Gibson. This isn't one, so the official name for this is a lap style resophonic slide guitar. So you can see why we just call it a Dobro. Yeah, so it's tuned to open G. There are other tunings you can use, but this is the most common one. So top string D, B, G, and then the same again, D, B, G. And you play it, I'm playing with finger picks on, so one thumb pick and two finger picks. These are metal and plastic thumb pick. Some people play, most people play with picks on. There are a few players that play without. I've seen one or two people play with 3 finger picks, so they use all 3 of these fingers, but this is the normal setup, especially for bluegrass playing. And then in the left hand, because you can't fret these strings, you use a bar, and lots of people will be familiar with an ordinary kind of guitar slide, which goes on, I can't play slide guitar, but it goes on, it doesn't fit my finger, but it goes on your finger like that, and you play an ordinary guitar like that with it. So it's similar, except that this one is a solid lump of metal. It's not perfectly round. You can get round ones, so this is the bullet bar style. Usually they're not bright green, but this has sort of notches for your fingers to go in, which is the standard one for playing Dobro. The bullet bar you might use for pedal steel or lap steel, but that's kind of another world. So to use the bar, you pluck a string, so that's one note, and then to change the note you just put the bar on the string. So I'm holding it with first finger on top, thumb to one side and the next finger over on the other side, and these two just rest behind to mute the strings, to stop it rattling. So if I just put it down without that, it's quite noisy, whereas if I put it down with the fingers, it's still a bit noisy if I'm accentuating, but you can make it quieter, and it stops sliding noise behind a bit. So yeah, you just move the bar to change the pitch, essentially. So a good way to start with the Dobro is just to start learning scales, to be honest. Same with almost any instrument, I would say, is just get some scales under your fingers. So we'll just go over a G major scale. So start on the bottom, 2nd fret, open, 1st fret, open, 2nd fret, 4th fret, open, 2nd fret, open, 1st fret, open, 2nd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret, and you can go back down. So I'm racing through this because I'm trying to keep this video short and sweet. So that's a basic G major scale. And once you've learnt your scales, you can then start to build them into tunes. So you can, if you're having a go at this, you can obviously pause this and slow it down, hopefully. So and really easy, simple one to start with is It Wasn't God Who Made Honky Tonk Angels, or it's the same tune as lots of other songs. So that's that basic melody. I was starting there on the second string from the top, the B string, open 1, 2, then open top string, open third string, second fret, open second string, first fret, open, second on the third string, that's where I went to, second on the next string down, the D string, so that's then 2, 2, open on the top string. So that's going across there a bit, so it's on the starting on the B string, the second string, first fret, and then next string over, second fret, next string over, fourth fret, open. Then so that's G, open G, second fret, open B, and then all of that mostly repeats. So the ending is, so it's B, A, G, open, 2, open, instead of, so it's actually just reversed from the first time round. So there's a basic melody you can get started with. It's fun to embellish, so because it's tuned to an open chord, if you're playing in, so it's tuned to open G, if you're playing in G and the chord underneath is a G, all of these notes will fit to pair with it, so if it's a song in the key of G, then it's likely that lots of the chords will be G. So there I'm just alternating, I'm using my first and my thumb on that B string where I'm moving the bar up, and the G string below. And then we need another chord, so you can work out chords easily. So you've got the open G, G sharp, A, B flat, B, C. So that's the next chord I want, is that C on the 5th fret. So there I did two chords there. So I'm playing 5th fret, 2nd string and 4th string for the C, C, and then we go to a D chord up here. So I'm sliding up to the 7th fret, so that's the next chord up, and I'm playing the 3rd string and the 5th string. So that's a really rushed through basic introduction to the dobro, and like I said, to get one exactly like this will cost you a lot of money. You can get a very entry level one for about 250, maybe £300. Then you've got to buy a bar. You can get a bar like this, so if you just type in Dobro bar into Google, you'll find lots of similar ones like this. So stainless steel with the ridges on the top, so not just completely round, and you can get them for about £25, various makes. You want some finger picks, they're quite cheap. So you'll need that whatever, but if you don't have one of these, but you do have an ordinary steel string guitar at home, or actually you can pick up a cheap steel string guitar for next to nothing, you can use one of those. So this one, I don't know if I'm holding this in the right place to the camera, but I'll edit it in if not. You can see so it's an ordinary round neck guitar that someone has, it was like this when I bought it, someone stuck an extension nut on it, so it's just a little piece of metal that goes over the nut of the guitar and lifts the strings up a bit, so you can play it lap style. So this is in a slightly different tuning, and it's going to sound a bit different because it's not got the resonator cone like the dobro has, but so I've got this one tuned to an open D tuning, but you could tune it exactly the same as that. And that's a cheap, simple way to get into the dobro. So yeah, hope I've created at least one new Dobro enthusiast.